reassuring to hear that, just in that situation, you managed to pull it all round from a really bad situation into being. I mean, your life's pretty much back on track now, isn't it? And you're doing well for yourself. I always take inspiration from anyone who's been in like an incredibly difficult situation like yours, and has managed to just get through it, to just get past it, and to just survive it.
Yeah.
So I think it's incredibly inspirational. Was it quite a quick turnaround? Would you say then, or would you say that you came to that decision about living as best as you could? And that sort of change in your mind about how you view the world and how you value the world, was it quite quick or was it progressively?
It was progressive because my first year I was pining for my old lifestyle back.
Oh, really?
So I feel that I did the right amount of time for me, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
I had to have that party animal, crushed out of me, basically.
Really?
By the judicial system. And then this journey of self-discovery, self-education was what built this foundation for me to establish my present, what I'm doing now on.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I think my turnaround, it felt like it was very quick. There was a period of me like coming to terms with what had happened, basically. Because it takes a bit of time. There's a shock to your system, isn't there, when you first get inside?
You go through shock, yeah.
And it's just like, what's happening? Sometimes it was every day you'd wake up and go, what the hell's going on? Or you'd wake up and when you're still asleep, eyes closed, you'd think you were somewhere else.
Yeah.
You open your eyes and you realise you're in prison. Here we go again. So there was a period for me certainly where I was just adjusting and trying to think, right, is this my life now? What's happening and what can I make of this, if anything at all?
Yeah.
And then, it was probably a few weeks where I suddenly just got this positive feeling that, like, no, I can survive this, and maybe I'll be better at the end of it, or I can try and be better. And ultimately, I think that's all that anyone can really do in life is you make a decision, you deal with the consequences of it, and then if you can try to aim to improve yourself and overcome any problems that cause that initial mistake, then I don't know what anyone else would want. Yeah. I still feel like quite guilty because it was friends of mine and stuff for my particular offence. But I keep thinking, well, if they could see me now, I hope they'd at least be appreciative of the fact that I'm trying to be a better person.
That's the thing, you can't change your past.
Yeah.
The most you can do is take responsibility for your crimes, acknowledge that you've done wrong, learn from the mistake, and then karmically just do the best you can in the future to balance out the harm that you've done in the past. Yeah. That's what I learned.
I mean, so over that like 6-year period, when you were doing a lot of reading, a lot of self-discovery kind of stuff. Yeah. Were there any bumps along the road?
Oh God, yeah. I had a cellmate in. Actually, it was only medium security. I'd just come out of Supermax. I was hoping they were going to be a bit softer. And he was breaking into people's houses and taking hammers to their kneecaps. He was a serial home invader, torturer.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't get along with me at all. He saw me as a fresh fish. He was a hardcore con. And he just said to me right away, his welcoming statement was, I've got this padlock in a sock here. I can smash your brains in while you sleep. I can kill you whenever I want. And I'm like... I'm the best cellmate you could ever have. I'm just a quiet guy. All I do is read and write. But he just was, didn't like me right off.
Yeah, sometimes they're all about that dominance thing, aren't they? People like to scare other people sometimes. Yeah. And know that they're quivering in the corner or something.
And he got his mate then, a 20-stone California biker, to beat me up just as I was going to a visit with my parents who'd flown 5,000 miles to come and see me for Christmas.
Oh my God. That's awful.
And the gang rule is you've got to hit back. If you don't hit back, everyone's going to punk you out.
Yeah.
I tried hitting back and it was like hitting a big bag of cement. And he was trained in kickboxing. It didn't end up very well for me.
I mean, 20 stone, was he a tall guy as well?
Yeah, he was big, handled like a big moustache, just like all tatted out, just like...
hell. That's the vision of the prison
piece of work
thug that you don't want to get involved with.
Yeah, so
Were you okay though? Like how badly?
I didn't get any teeth knocked out, bones broken. He smashed my my kidneys up. I was hurting for about a week, but I consider myself lucky compared to what I saw, what was going on in there. You know, people's getting eyeballs shanked or eyeballs pulled out and stuff like that. So in the end, it escalated with my cellmate. He's getting higher on heroin and meth, shooting up constantly. He was leaving needles out on purpose. I actually stood on one of his needles trying to give me hepatitis C. Fortunately, it only went in my foot a little bit. It didn't get to the blood. It was just stuck in my foot.
Okay, just the skin kind of thing, yeah.
But it got to the point where I got so scared with him, I had to call my family and ask them to call the British Embassy and see if they'd get me moved, because I thought he was going to kill me during my sleep. He was keeping me awake all night, interrogating me, showing me the padlock. And you know, I said, look, when they call the prison, they can't say anything I've said that would get him in trouble. That would make me snitch. And then it's KOS, kill on sight. All the prisoners want to kill me. So the embassy handled it appropriately, and I was moved without getting in trouble. He was throwing batteries at me for a couple of weeks afterwards until I got a cellmate who was big, I had some words, and then it stopped. So that, you know, the point where I was at my suicidal low, living with the cockroaches, that was one of the worst points, and that's the serial home invader torture cellmate. That was another one of the worst points as well.
How long into your sentence was that guy as well?
That was about 2.5 years.
So it must have been pretty hard to get through at least a fair portion of your sentence and then be facing that kind of difficulty again.
Yeah, because I just come from the remand jail into the prison. I was in Supermax, and then I went over to like medium security where prisoners come out of the cells. It was a big deal for me to be going in there. And having him, you know, right off the cuff when I was just looking to reintegrate with these guys was, yeah.
I can't believe you got away from that all right.
It was
relatively unscathed.
It was a hefty challenge, but you know what? I credit it now because I've opened one of my books, Prison Time, with him. His sentence, I've got a padlock in a sock. I'm going to smash your head in while you sleep and kill you whenever I want. It's classic conflict, isn't it? So I'm thanking him now for giving me some good material from my book.
At the very minimum.
If I'd have got through it easy, I would have had nothing to write about.
It's an incredible view of the situation, at least. Very positive view on it.
Got to, haven't you? Got to be positive.
Then did you go down in terms of the security level?
Yeah, I worked my way down to minimum security.
Yeah, and was that better or?
Minimum. Doors click open at 6 a.m. Other than head counts, you can come out onto like a rec area. Out in the desert, it's hot and stuff, you know, but baseball cap and shades, it was fine. Guys are working out on pull-ups and dip bars and stuff like that. There's some phones where you can call, reverse charge, call your local family and stuff like that. And you know, in the end, I formed alliances with people who protected me. And the main guy was two Tonys, working on his life story right now. He dictated it to me in prison. He was doing 112 years. He was the mafia mass murderer. Only murdered gangsters, so he said it was a crime of integrity. And he was at the top of the respect in the prison, because if you have only murdered gangsters, that puts you at the top, where I was at. Anyone who's murdered a woman or a child, or has any crime to do with a woman or a child, it's kill on sight. The prisons try and kill those guys when they come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't killing in UK prisons, but in terms of the hierarchy of respect and disrespect, almost exactly the same.
Yeah, it's convict justice in the criminal code, isn't it? Yeah.
Wow.
So once he took me under his wing, if I got beat up, I would have got moved and I wouldn't have been able to continue his life story, which was a several-month project.
Oh, so he was protecting you for that reason?
Well, one of the reasons, but by the end of it, he said I was like the son that he'd never had.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Nice sentiment.
Yeah, but sadly he died from his own drug taking as well, from liver cancer, a couple of years after he got released.
Oh,
yeah.
That's quite sad. Did you finish his story?
Yeah, he dictated it to me, and I'm just presently finishing it up right now. And his spirit lives on in me in the sense that he taught me to appreciate the value of small things. One of his favourite books was A Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, where Ivan's in the Russian gulag, they're getting worked to death. It's so cold, if you spit freezes mid-air. And anytime the prisoners complained about anything where we were at, two Tonys would laugh at them and say, look, the prisoners are complaining because the breakfast is cold in the morning. How can they complain when where Ivan was at, they were fighting over a fish eyeball in the soup?
Wow, that is a man who can appreciate anything. Wow.
Yeah, and now by appreciating the small things, I don't go looking for trouble in all the wrong places. You know, there's no dead rats in my food. There's no cockroaches in my bed. We've got things so good in the West compared to a lot of the horrible stuff that's going on around the world. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
In these war-torn countries.
Yeah.
You just got to appreciate what we've got while we're here.
And I mean, I'm kind of the same mind as, what was it called? Two Tonys. Two Tonys.
Yeah.
What a strange name.
Yeah.
Why was it called that?
Two Tonys got that name because there was two guys whacked out of LA called Tony, and the whackers, the guys got in the back of a vehicle and they shot the two Tonys who were in the front. One of the whackers was called Charles Battaglia. He was a mafia lieutenant for the Bonanno crime family, which was the most powerful Italian mafia family, and that was Two Tony's boss at one point in time. Right. But over the years, Two Tonys started to whack people and rose up above this guy. And this guy threatened Two Tonys in a restaurant one morning, and Two Tonys turned the tables on him, threatened him back, and he backed down. And when they left the restaurant, Two Tonys' crime partner, Sal Spinelli, said to him, when you threatened him and he backed down, I could see the spirit of the Two Tonys above his head.
That's brilliant. So it's like the Two Tonys were embodied in him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah.
I like that for the reason that's what he was called. I kind of agree with him on the little things, appreciating little things, because one of the mantras that I learned when I was inside was try to think of 3 things that you appreciate every day.
Yeah.
And it was something that really pulled me out of like a mental slump, where even if you appreciate just someone saying hello in the morning, you think, oh, that's nice, I didn't need to say that was nice of them. And I got some warm food today, that's nice.
Yeah.
And, you know, you get to have a visit or anything like that, and I just started appreciating 3 things a day. Just every time before I went to sleep, I'd think over the day and go, oh, that was nice, that was nice.
And that brings your mind into the present, you focus on something positive, and you're not worrying about what might happen in the future or hooked into the past, which is what a lot of us spend our time doing.
Exactly, yeah. You obsess about the mistakes that you've made in the past and about past glories that you've had that you can't get anymore.
Yeah.
Rather than focus on the present and the future.
Yeah.
So did you meet any other characters when you were inside that similar to Two Tonys?
Endless cast of characters in prison. Ranging from my friend Zena, giant transsexual. Now the transsexuals in prison, Zena, for example, believes he is a woman trapped in a man's body. So to try and become the woman that he believes he is, then he had estrogen smuggled in, but they got to a point where he then woke up one morning, drinks coffee, grabs a razor blade and tries to cut his man parts off. The testicles are on some branches and he slashed open the scrotum, cut one of them off. He's got his hand in the scrotal sac looking for the other one. It retracted into his body and he can't find it. It's hiding out inside him. He's got his hand in his guts looking for it. He was bleeding to death.
Oh my god. And
they got a helicopter just in time to get him to hospital to save his life because he was bleeding.
Wow.
So much. Wow. And they put him on suicide watch when he got back, but a couple of years later he got the other one off as well. They do that to stop the testosterone, get estrogen smuggled in, and then they feel like they're more at peace, feeling like they're more women.
So leaving the knob, but they just get rid of the testicles.
I asked about the main part, and they said that it shrinks and retracts.
Wow, self-surgery.
Yeah, basically. DIY surgery.
Wow, that is insane.
Yeah.
Got to have some level of pain threshold there to be able to do that.
Yeah. The pain. Zena's described the pain to me, and it's like out of this world.
Goes through me.
There was a female I met, a transsexual I met, she got both of hers off, and she almost looked like a woman. Yeah.
Really?
Closest thing. She was in high demand sexually.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Was there, what kind of percentage would you say of American prisoners are transgender?
A very small percent of transgender, but most prisoners were receiving oral sex from transgender prisoners.
Oh, right, I see.
And it was actually considered straight to receive oral sex from a prisoner. And I was told after 5 years I'd be doing it. I had a woman visiting me, and I didn't go there.
You opted out of that.
I mean, I understand the pressure, the sexual pressure. You know, you go years of having no female proper contact.
Yeah, you'll take anything.
Well, there's various stages that the prisoners go through. There's a thing called a Fifi bag. I don't know if you guys have the equivalent in the UK system.
I can guess what it is.
It's like a washcloth soaked up with lube on it.
Yeah.
You know, after so many years, you switch from your right hand to your left hand because it's like a whole new experience.
The stranger, as they call it.
The stranger.
Sits around quiet. He goes dead, and then it just feels like someone else. I always was quite impressed when I was inside and the ingenuity levels of prisoners for creating new kind of sex toys and things. It was almost like a field of engineering where they go, no, you need this kind of shampoo and you mix it with this kind of thing, you put it in a rubber glove, surround all that with this and then cut a hole in your mattress or something, you know. It was crazy, but I was slightly impressed at the deviance.
Yeah, the ingenuity. There's a lot of intelligent people in prison, and they, you know, Xena had a beaded G-string that Xena had made for herself. Xena and her boyfriend were making sex toys, melting things down and making sex toys.
It's so mad. I mean, I did like just over 14 months inside, but I can understand that level of sexual frustration where...
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty sexually frustrated, but in part, I think that's because you're surrounded by men.
Yeah.
There was very few women. There was like maybe a couple female screws around here and there in the prisons that I was in, and then a few in education and stuff as well. But because they weren't around you all the time, you're just living with loads of other blokes.
Yeah. Just to clarify for my US listeners, screw means guard in the UK, not having sex.
Yeah, sorry, screw is a prison officer, yeah. Even after my short stint in time, I was like a sexual tyrannosaurus. Just anything that would come near me, I was like, at least that's what I felt like, you know, when I went out. But
there's all kinds of stuff going on. It just the receiving of the oral sex was just the beginning of understanding of what was going on to me.
Really?
There was prostitution.
Wow.
There was guys who had wives and girlfriends visiting them, but they were secretly gay. To the visitors, and that's called gay for the stay. And when they get released, they go back to the wives and girlfriends. There was guys in open gay relationships. There were punks who were like slaves, who were just prostitutes, who were just traded to other people.
Punks.
Punks. A punk is someone you own that is your bitch. It's your prison bitch, basically.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and you know, they will do all your cleaning, your cell, scrub your toilet, do your laundry. Make your bed and perform sexual services for you, and then you can rent that person out as well to other prisoners.
Damn! So you didn't want to be a punk, effectively. That's the one thing you didn't want to do.
It's called being turned out. Once you're turned into a punk, everyone is going to have a go at you. Then
is that like if you it's like when you submit, effectively?
Yeah.
When you get to that stage of submission.
I was ready to fight to the death if
Yeah.
anything happened. I got threatened a few times, and I was thinking, you know, I'm going to fight, and if worse comes to the worst, I was just going to crap all over myself and then just smear it on their faces and in their eyeballs and everything just to stop it. You've seen the Shawshank Redemption. He gets nailed, doesn't he, several times by the sisters.
Yeah, you got to.
I was determined not to let that happen, you know.
Yeah.
I would fight to the death just to protect my anal virginity. Absolutely.
See, I was like worried about that when I went inside. And I think after maybe 6 months or something of being in, I was like, I heard rumours of it here and there, but it was all kept very, very under wraps. So anything that I did hear, it was like hard to confirm anything. And there was a few guys who were like prolific for that kind of stuff. But as long as I avoided those kind of people, I seemed to be okay. So I thought, maybe it won't be a problem. And luckily for me, it wasn't.
Did anyone try and coerce you? Because what I noticed was there was probably more coercion, especially of young people. Like people would get people in debt and then say, you pay this debt back by doing this.
Yeah. People tried to do that a lot. About like, well, I'll just lend you, two lots of tobacco or something. Or I'll just, have the shirt. It's fine. You can just owe me. Yeah. And I was just like, no, I'm fine. Yeah. I thought when I first went in, I just went in the clothes I was on. Because I got hit by that car though.
Right.
All my jeans were ripped and everything, all dirty and all torn and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just thought, oh fuck it, I can just survive in as long as I can just eat and sleep.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I'm just going to try and survive on the bare minimum. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
So I'll just stink the entire time. I don't give a fuck. But then after a while, I'd learned that was kind of a thing that you had to do. Like, you couldn't smell because then the person you were with in a pad would beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, hygiene is one of the gang rules.
Yeah.
But prison rape was so prevalent where I was at, they had what's called a rape class, whereby you had to go and watch videos with the guards about what to do if someone's raped and how to avoid it, not take sweets off predators and all this stuff. And then if someone is raped, you got to report it to the guards, and then we said to the guards, look, if you report anything, you're a snitch. Kill on sight for snitches. Yeah. And right after the rape class I attended, a mentally ill prisoner was then gang raped, and no one reported a thing.
Yeah. So you could have gone and told them effectively that class does nothing. It maybe educates people a little bit, but it doesn't help in the real situation.
No, all the classes they were doing were just token.
Yeah. That's just so they can tick all the boxes to say that they've done that.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a contract behind it. Someone's making some money off it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So were you aware of anyone who got raped in your buildings?
There was one guy who I had he was a friend, and he'd got in a fight of some kind.
Yeah.
There was, as far as I know, he didn't tell me any of this. I went and researched it and tried and investigate myself.
Yeah.
And he was in some debt with some problems, so some guy had been beaten on him a few times to get this money back. Yeah. And then he was a really lively guy, and then for a month period he said almost nothing at all to anyone.
Yeah.
So I was suspicious of that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find out, like, narrow it down to anything less than a dozen people. Yeah. Like who he might be associated with. But I had suspicions, but no, I never got confirmation of anything. I kind of think that must have been what happened, because he didn't get beaten up that much. Yeah. He got beaten a little bit. He had like a black eye, but it seemed more like it was psychological than anything else. So other than that, nothing really.
Because Zena got gang raped when he came in, and he was big. He was weightlifting, and he was debt collecting for the Aryan Brotherhood, and they turned against him, and they gang raped him multiple times, shoved a broomstick in his behind. Gang raped him while he was unconscious, and I said to him, how do you know if they were raping you if you were unconscious? And his response was, when I went to the toilet afterwards, I could tell by what came out. And the way he ended up stopping it was he was studying anatomy, and he basically said to the gang, I don't care if I'll ever die anymore. And the next 2 times they attacked him, the first member to grab him, he plucked their eyeball out, so it was dangling from the optic nerve.
Like hanging out here?
Hanging out there, and it does not go back in, and it's never normal again. It does go back in, but it's never normal again.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, messes your vision up, messes your eyeball up.
Yeah,
and I didn't believe you could possibly do that. But now I do karate now. It's called a chicken beak strike, where you just like that.
And it kind of makes sense. I can imagine that.
Pops the eye out very, very rapidly. He also had a friend who was gang raped, and they took a light bulb, shoved it in his backside, and smashed it while it was in there. And another one who was gang raped and decapitated.
Fuck.
They took a shovel from the work crew, held him down, and cut his head off with it. And then they positioned the head in an area of the prison where the rival gangs would see it to make the point they were the baddest gang.
Wow, that is ridiculous. Yeah. It's crazy, like, just some of them other points you were making. I often think, like, how did people survive that? Like, how have they lived through that? 'Cause it's like it's so on the edge of being like a fatal injury. I mean, they're all potentially fatal injuries. Yeah. Obviously, decapitation. Yeah. But I'm just like, I'm so shocked that like people can go through that and live past it, you know.
Well, when you look in Zena's face, you can just see in Zena's eyes the horrific things that Zena's experienced. Yeah, it's just written all over her face.
Wow, some things you can't unlive or forget, I guess. But so you've been through quite a lot of different situations and prisons. And you write about it a little bit now. That's kind of how we met. So tell us a little bit about what you're up to now. What you
never set out to be a writer. In the jail where the guards were routinely murdering the prisoners, including mentally ill prisoners, I said to a guard, "How does the jail get away with all this? The human rights violations." And the guard said to me, "The world has got no idea what's going on in here." So, reflecting on the harm I'd done, putting people on the road of drug use, believing karma, couldn't change my past, so I resolved to go out and share my story with people.
Yeah.
And now I'm probably going to do about 150 talks at schools across the country this academic year. It's probably spoke to 100,000 students over a 5-year period, and I get all this feedback from the students, especially on Twitter.
Yeah.
If you go on my Twitter feed, Shaun Attwood, and look at the favourites, it's just all live feedback coming in from the students.
Oh, that's good.
And they don't listen to the parents and the teachers, but because I've been through it, you know, and they say, look, we thought drugs was cool, but now we can see what that leads to. Even get parents requesting to meet me, say stuff like, look, if we can get a grunt off our kid when he got out of school, but wouldn't shut up about your talk, and it was the first time we could sit down and talk to him about drugs.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so, you know, it's balancing out what I did, hopefully, and trying to influence these young people.
Yeah, well, you're doing something positive. It's a standalone event. You're doing something positive.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a testament to it being positive if you're getting loads of positive feedback and you're still doing the talks.
That's what keeps me motivated to do it. If they didn't react, if there wasn't any feedback, I'd just stop doing it.
Very attention seeking. You need to be kind of constant to
feel that I'm doing good.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Cheers, Jack. Thanks for your time. Yeah, appreciate it.
Keep doing what you're doing as well, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Subscribe to our channels.